Is back in San Antonio for a middleweight showdown as the viral sensation Joe Bauman takes on the always tough Anthony Ivy on UFC Fight Pass. But first, we get a look at the future headliners of Fury FC with a stacked amateur and pro card featuring the brightest up-and-coming talent in MMA right here live from Cowboys Dance Hall. I'm Rahil Ramzanali, joined by the black belt himself, Michael Alexander, and UFC veteran and the future champ, Alex Morono. And guys, the prelims are here. It's a beautiful Sunday. Look, these amateurs, we always talk about it, but what a stage to perform on.
Yeah, future headliners is right. They got a big card tonight to perform on here. Looking forward to seeing them.
Absolutely. Let's get it going right now and join the fourth member of our broadcast team, the best dressed man in MMA. Here's Wayne LaGrange.
Good afternoon, fight fans, and welcome to Cowboys Dance Hall in San Antonio, Texas. This is Fury FC 68, Bauman versus Ivy. But first, please welcome to the blue corner for your opening undercard contest, Ruben Rodriguez.
Ruben Rodriguez making his debut. Exciting times for the hometown kid. Debut, first fighter out, Michael. The nerves got to a little high, right?
Yeah, a lot of pressure whenever you decide to make your debut in your hometown. When I made my debut, I went to the furthest city from my town that was having a fight to make sure that nobody I cared about enough would see it. So good on him to come in here, weight division in the amateurs and the pros. That's a stacked division for Fury Fighting, Alex.
Yeah, it absolutely is. It's insane. Also, in terms of coming out to your hometown, these guys need to be very grateful and thankful that they have a promotion like Fury here, based out of Texas, to debut on such well-produced shows. Yeah, there's a little more at risk being in front of all your friends and family, but there's a lot to gain as well. And I was actually in their same boat. I was the young teenager fighting in front of everyone he knew and loved, and it just gave you that much more incentive to win.
Yeah.
The 27-year-old making his debut in front of the hometown crowd, out a Brazilian top team. It's going to be fun, man. And it's got to be a little bit calming that your opponent also making his debut. The nerves are going to be kind of even on both sides, so that's got to help a little bit.
Yeah, I think it helps a little bit, Alex. What do you think? It helps a little bit, but also you're a little bit nervous about.
He's so young.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's go inside to Wayne to meet our next fighter.
Please welcome to the red corner, Caden Atkinson.
Caden Atkinson. You see that Ohana shirt on him. A lot of Ohana Academy fighters on the card today. And usually from this area, not only San Antonio, but when we go down to McAllen, Edward, a lot of fighters from that fight camp. As I mentioned, debut for the 17-year-old Caden Atkinson.
Yeah, it's a school night, too, so he's got to finish this early. They put him early on the cards. He's got to get home and get ready for school tomorrow. So, yeah, at 17 years old in the state of Texas, you're allowed to get licensed to fight as an amateur. But, yeah, I mean, 17 years old, already feels like he has enough training in to step into the cage, Alex. That's a big step.
Yeah, and Ohana knows what they're doing, and that's why I was, saying, and from Ruben's perspective, when your opponent's that young, that usually means they're a young prodigy, so we'll find out here in just a few seconds what that's all about.
Let's go inside to Wayne for our official introduction.
Your opening undercard contest, brought to you by Space City Collective, is scheduled for 3 rounds in the Fury Amateur Series Bantamweight Division. Introducing to you first, fighting out of the blue corner. Sitting 5 feet 9 inches tall, he weighed in at 139 pounds. Fighting out of San Antonio, Texas, today he made his amateur debut. This is Ruben. And introducing his opponent across the cage, fighting out of the red corner. Sitting 5 feet 7 inches tall, he weighed in officially at 135.2 pounds. Also fighting out of San Antonio, Texas, today he too makes his amateur debut. This is the Rage, Caden Atkinson. Your referee in charge of the action, Nick Gonzalez.
The Ghost, Nick Gonzalez. Inside, get things going here.
That's not very often you get to hear that a person is 10 years older than his opponent and he's only 27.
Yeah.
By the way, Rodriguez in the blue gloves, Atkinson in the red gloves. Caden Atkinson. Ooh, nice right.
And I'll tell you, the old fighter in Rodriguez, he's timing some big hooks on the entries as Cade cuts a hard angle for an armbar. Just missed it.
Yeah, and you got to remember that, there's a big difference in the type of strength you have at these two ages. A 27-year-old is well into his man strength at that very beginning or early part of his prime. And at 17, he's still got a lot of growing to do.
Oh, absolutely.
When you're making your debut, gentlemen, are you more comfortable in your technique when you're on the ground because you've drilled that so much, and less unexpected patterns as opposed to stand-up?
I just didn't want to take any punishment. That was my only. I was like, whatever we got to do, wherever it goes, I just don't want to take any punishment. I want to be on the offensive side as much as possible.
That was the third very strong calf kick from Rodriguez. And it's good that Caden's young, because usually young guys can take a little more damage and not feel it as bad, but he needs to start addressing and defending the offensive wrestling here from Caden, which is a good choice. He's in a decent guillotine, but Rodriguez has no lower body control. So this may be uncomfortable for the man stuck in the front headlock, but there's not going to be a big threat of an actual choke. Not until the legs are in play. Okay, now he's got a classic grip guillotine. If Rodriguez can... Oh, he chooses to knee and break.
And even though Ruben has landed a few punches, landed a few leg kicks, Caden is still moving forward, still coming forward, getting in the face. Nice little hip toss there. Almost got him to the ground.
1 minute left. Opening round.
Another good low kick. Caden's coaches are asking, they're calling for him to check those kicks, which is smart.
Oh.
And he's going to set his kicks up too. He just threw that low kick with no setup and met a right hand. And both guys, they're throwing their techniques well. It's the timing of Caden that I think needs a little more deliberate thought.
Yeah, tried that omoplata there, but didn't have a grip on the glove.
Did use it to get up, which is very admirable.
Yeah.
In modern mixed martial arts, submissions off the back are mostly used for get-ups now. Nice high kick from Caden.
Man, I think Caden might have hit him in the liver there. I think he may be a little bit hurt. Yeah, I think Ruben may be just a little bit hurt, trying to get his breath back.
The Rage is keeping a heavy pace.
Now Rodriguez opening up a little bit as well. Nice flurry. The round by from the youngster, Caden Atkinson.
Yeah, it was a fun first round. And really, to go back to answer your question on what's more comfortable, that's very much so a case-by-case thing. It really depends on the style and honestly the personality. I always felt comfortable standing and throwing bombs opposed to wrestling. I always thought the wrestling and grappling was a little more challenging, even though that's what I had done the majority of. So you can usually tell in the fighter to see if they're like really excited to trade punches or if they do look to implement their wrestling. But in terms of what's more comfortable, I'd say neither. Neither of them very comfortable.
And keep in mind, Raheel, when I did my first fight, I don't even have any type of formal training for 90 days.
Wow.
Yeah, and I had to take 2 weeks off for being sick in that 90 days. And so I don't been training for 90 days. So when they finally quit calling me dumb for getting in there 90 days after I started training, all we worked on was wrestling, takedowns, and ground and pound. That was, we want you to take down, we want you to be on top. If you get on bottom, you're going to die. So that was the game plan. It worked out.
All right, second round between these awesome amateurs. Nice glove touch there.
Caden took some decent shots, but wore them very well and was able to finish strong. See, that's why I believe where his youth is really strong. Good right hander from Caden, but again, he ate another one of those hard low kicks.
Yeah, and Ruben did look a little bit tired at the end of the first round, and of course, Caden rounds.
Probably going to go train after this.
Yeah, probably. And then remember, he's got school.
Yeah.
Oh, good right hand there from the Wood.
It's always good. You go to school the next day. What'd you do yesterday?
Yeah.
Amateur debut.
Had a cage fight.
Yeah, went to church, went to lunch, did a cage fight. Yeah, both these guys not afraid. Both these guys throwing here. Both these guys landing well. I think Ruben would be smart to continue with those leg kicks. He is taking a little bit of punishment. He is taking a few punches, and those leg kicks seem to equalize that and keep Caden at bay.
And Caden's done a good job checking him. He's checked one and then got out of the way of the other. Could get up on Caden. One thing, Caden's kicking a lot, but he's not setting him up, and he will kick going backwards, and that comes while coming forward and do it after some punches.
Yeah, you got to throw something in that face. You got to distract. You got to get those hands up. You got to get their eyes covered. You got to get them in the point, whatever it is. Nice leg kick there from Caden.
See, Ruben is using well as his hooks. He'll counter with his lead hook, and he'll set up a big power right hook.
Nice
but
left there.
Yeah, punches are meeting the mark. There's hooks there, you know.
Second round, Caden unloading a lot more with his nice connect there.
It's a good right hand, yeah. Got a bad reaction. There was a good high kick coming forward.
Yeah, Caden also doing a good job of cutting the ring off. You don't see that a lot with amateurs where they're cutting the ring off. They kind of run from each other a little bit and they chase each other around. Caden doing a pretty good job of cutting off the ring for a first fight amateur.
Yeah, he sure is. It was a bit of a labored shot there from Ruben. Caden saw it coming a mile away.
Caden's starting to turn up the pressure here a little bit.
45
when this
seconds
fight started,
left,
Ruben was controlling the center of the cage, and now that's not the case. He's up against the cage. You can tell he's tired.
Definitely the younger fighter, Caden, more aggressive in round 2. Really having his way right now with what he wants to throw, especially in the last 45 seconds.
Good right hand there from Ruben. Good left hook from Caden. Right there, he throws the kick with no big setup. It's a beautiful job, kind of changing the action and scoring a takedown of his own. A well-timed shot there from Ruben. He needed that. He was on the bad end of a couple big shots.
And I like how Caden so far, he's not doing it so far yet, but he's wrestled up just about every time he's gotten down on the ground. He's tried a submission. When it didn't work, he's wrestled his way back to his feet and started doing some damage immediately.
Yeah, and then, this is where the youth versus age, youth versus strength comes in. Yes, the strength may have early, success, but the youth, they'll have that longer range cardio. And I mean, looking at Caden, it looks like he's going to come out fresh for the 3rd round. He's not sitting down.
I'm trying to think senior year, so he's probably taken calculus.
Yeah,
probably.
Yeah. Government.
Economics.
And that's about it, because then you just go home.
Yeah, and here he goes. The 17-year-old talking to his opponent in here in the 3rd round, letting him know that I can see that you're tired. And letting him know that he is not tired.
Oh, another good right-hander from Caden. I think I love that Caden's not over-swinging on his shots. It's really measured.
Yeah, very nice striking from Caden.
He's really found his comfort now. He's found what he wants to implement.
Nice lead hook there from Caden.
And fundamentally, he looks really good going into the 3rd round of his debut. He looks like exactly the things he did in the 1st round. His hands are in the same spot. Not the case with Ruben. He's a little bit labored right now. He's trying to throw those big shots.
See some blood coming out of the nose of the 27-year-old Ruben Rodriguez.
So again, that was a well-thrown body kick, but there was no setup, so Ruben was able to catch it and turn him. And the kick actually landed right on the body, but still, it was too easy to catch. That's where the setups are good. You throw a punch, they get the hands up, then you throw the body kick.
Yeah, Caden's doing a good job with that tie clinch and letting go with it immediately and trying to throw that hook to land on the break.
Halfway mark of the final round of this opening amateur fight.
I'll tell you, Caden's wearing the kicks. Oh, big right hand there from Ruben. Caden wears it well. I was just saying, he's absorbed a lot of low kicks, and he's not showing any damage. I guarantee you tomorrow he's going to feel it.
Oh, yeah.
There were some thudders. Oh, big body kick there from Caden. That makes Ruben take a step back.
Yeah, very similar to his reaction earlier to that body punch that he took. Nice left hook there from Caden.
Oh, nice.
It's an effective tool there of Ruben on those calf kicks.
Yeah, very quick movements, very quick back to his feet.
Just gonna say,
Atkinson
connected great, but really there's no secondary damage off that.
Both guys exchanged punches. Big right hand there from Ruben. Ruben's actually doing some good damage this round, but his body language is kind of showing the judges that he's maybe not winning. This is where if he just looks a little more fresh. Oh, big cut over there, left eye there of Caden.
20 seconds left. Final round.
Nice from that big right hook.
Yeah, nice little reminder of your debut there for Caden Atkinson.
Man, he is going to be the talk of high school tomorrow. Big connect there from Ruben Rodriguez.
Big jab, too. And I think Ruben actually may have done the more significant damage in round 3.
That's a difficult one to call.
Yeah. Man. Ruben Rodriguez, yes, catch your breath.
Great fight, great opening fight here for this Fury undercard.
And it's really cool for both fighters to get that debut out, but looking at Ruben, I'm sure going in, he's like, here's where my cardio needs to be, my conditioning, and now you know where it really needs to be.
You know, one of my amateurs made their debut, and he did great. He dropped the guy in the first, busted him up, won the round, 10-8 round arguable. We found out after, one of the judges gave him 10-8. And going into the second, I said, hey, this is what it feels like. This is fight fatigue. Now that you understand, like, this is the expectation, this is the standard, it doesn't feel great, but you can fight and win from here. And fighting, it's never going to feel good. You just got to prepare yourself and know what the pace is like.
Yeah, and it's good that you said that, Alex, because I think a lot of coaches make that mistake. During their amateur fights, you need to be telling them, when we get to training, this is what I'm talking about when I tell you this is hard. 1 minute goes by fast, 3 minutes goes by slow. This is what we're talking about, and the coaches need to be reminding these athletes of that in between rounds. And of course, along with coaching them what to do and how not to get, just get killed on the round coming up. But yeah, I think it's important for the coaches to let them know that this is where it relates to training.
And we saw the replay of Ruben Rodriguez opening up a little bit more in that final minute. So even though he was tired in round 3, he did have a nice finish to that round and this fight. And we'll see how the judges scored this fight. That was a fun way to get us going here at Fury FC 68. Live on our Facebook page and our YouTube channel. Thank you so much for joining us. Shout out to all the commentators on our YouTube page. Love it. I go back and watch our replays, and they've got the funniest comments. So thank you everyone for supporting us and for creating a little community out there on our YouTube page.
Yeah, very cool. As for the unofficial R scorecards, honestly, so I'd say Caden certainly takes round 2.
For sure.
And I'll be honest, I think Rodriguez takes round 3, and round 1 was really close and competitive. I could really see the fight going either way. I think the body language of Caden is what was helping out a lot as well for him.
Hey, do you want to hear more from Alex Morono? He was the recent guest on Fury Unleashed, the podcast. Excellent interview. I enjoyed listening to that. Good stuff there. You can hear it on your podcast platform, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you get it. Join Wayne Leggett, Rich Burmaster, Eric Garcia, and the superstar Diego Reyes as they talk about everything MMA and non-MMA related when it comes to Fury and the MMA game in general. They preview all the fights. They break down the fights. I can't recommend it enough. Fury Unleashed, the podcast.
They're just tallying up some scores. There's no confusion. They're just making sure they get the right numbers, the right fighter.
See this crowd already filling out nicely. A lot of San Antonio fighters, a lot of local fighters here from the area. There's our judges right there getting our final scores. You see the beautiful man himself, Wayne Leggett.
Wayne hiding the answer like it's the Oscars or something.
Yeah.
And the Oscar for Best Actor goes to...
Let's go inside to Wayne and see how the judges scored it.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 3 rounds of combat, we go to the judges' scorecards for a decision brought to you by Space City Collective. Judge Joe Calvi scores the fight 29-28, Atkinson. Judge Ray Campos scores the fight 27-30, Rodriguez. And Judge Kevin Reap scores the fight 29-28. Declaring your winner by split decision, Ruben Rodriguez!
Congratulations to Ruben Rodriguez, and if I'm Caden Atkinson, look, it's a loss, but it's an amateur loss. Look, you got your experience. That was a tough fight. Could have gone either way.
Yeah, definitely could have gone either way. I think they gave Ruben the first and third, which is fair. One judge gave him all 3, which is a little weird, but that's okay. The fight could have gone either way. Neither guy can be upset with that decision.
Yeah, and he's 17 years old. He's got a long future ahead of him. He did very, very well in there against a guy that's 10 years older, that's obviously bigger, that's stronger, that, I think he did very, very well.
Let's go inside to Wayne to meet our next fighter.
Please welcome to the blue corner, Albert Salinas.
Albert Salinas making his debut as well from West Waco, Texas. I'll be honest, that's the first time I've heard of West Waco, Texas.
Yeah, never heard of it either.
And I've been here pretty much my whole life. Since I was 5 years old, I traveled the state. I've been to almost every part. I don't even know where West Waco is. But, hey, Albert Salinas putting West Waco on the map. I like it.
That's right.
Yeah, Texas is so big, they may have just added it. We don't know.
Yeah, that's true. Making his debut, the 22-year-old in this 140 catchweight fight.
Yeah, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu purple belt. He works as a bartender when he's not at the gym. He's in his senior year at Lamar University studying criminal justice. So, you know, not just a tough kid, but a smart kid also.
Yeah, he's got a pretty big frame for this bantamweight or featherweight weight class. I know they got a catch right between. Out of Black Star Kickboxing. Should be a fun fight. He's another young blood, another young buck, ready to fight hard.
Let's meet his opponent. Here is Wayne Leggett.
Please welcome to the red corner, Taylor Andrews.
Taylor Andrews, 0-2 amateur record, started fighting back in 2017 where he lost. He came back to the cage in 2022, had a really good fight against Luis Olveira in March, and then just got caught with a devastating left hook. I went back and watched that fight. He does expose his chin a little bit, so that's maybe something they've been working on to hide that. But should have a good stand-up game, good talk game as well. Exciting fighter.
Yeah, and anytime you have an 0-2 guy, you know, against a debut guy, there is a little bit of an advantage there just because of that amount of time he spent in the cage. We saw a little bit earlier, maybe both guys kind of blowing themselves out. Well, one of the guys maybe blowing himself out a little bit in the first round, losing the second, coming back in the third. So that ring time is valuable, Alex.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, if you're his opponent, if you see the two losses, the both submissions, that can even help formulate a game plan and maybe try to take him down.
Taylor Andrews with those very colorful Muay Thai shorts.
So you know he's probably going to have a nice stand-up game. Unless you play mind games. Our Tale of the Chain brought to you by Space City Collective. The 29-year-old Taylor Andrews, 140.6 is catch weight, 140 fight. 1 inch height advantage for Albert Salinas. And the reach also for Salinas. Let's go inside to Wayne for our introductions.
Ladies and gentlemen, the following contest brought to you by Aces Performance Exhaust is scheduled for 3 rounds in the Fury Amateur Series at a catch weight of 140 pounds. Introducing your first competitor, fighting out of the blue corner. Standing 5 feet 10 inches tall, he weighed in officially at 139.6 pounds. Fighting out of West Waco, Texas, today he makes his amateur debut. This is Albert Salinas. And introducing his opponent across the cage, fighting out of the red corner. Standing 5 feet 9 inches tall, he weighed in at 140.6 pounds. Fighting out of San Antonio, Texas, today he seeks his first win as an amateur. This is Taylor Andrews. Your referee in charge, Frank Colazzo.
Final instructions. See the blue gloves there for Salinas, red for Andrews. Salinas, the taller of the fighters. Both guys, nice builds here for 140.
Yeah, they both have a lot of range. A little taller than the average featherweight or bantamweight. They're right in the middle.
Salinas representing Black Star Kickboxing. Taylor Andrews Unity Training Center right here in San Antonio, Texas.
Both guys volleying hard for a little over underwork. Salinas, it's a really nice little modified tap down. Good build up there from Taylor. Nice. Both guys seem to have pretty fundamental clinch work awareness here in MMA.
And you see Taylor Andrews punching very, very short. So he wants to get in there as tight as he can. You see those Muay Thai shorts, so probably a Muay Thai guy.
Decent guillotine attempt here from Salinas. This one's deep.
Yeah,
his hands are disconnected, but he's got the mount. His hands are connected again. Taylor's fighting the hands. I mean, this one's not comfortable, but he's out of it. Good work on Taylor following, just good, critical, you know, breakaway work for the guillotine there. Fought the hands, cleared the chin, did a good job.
Yeah, did a very good job of staying calm. Didn't get too overzealous, trying to pick him up or anything like that, giving him the opportunity to improve his position. Because as you know, Alex, that guillotine can come quick.
Oh, yeah.
You fix that position, it comes quick, and all of a sudden it starts choking when it wasn't just a second earlier.
Salinas setting up a triangle. Oh, man, he actually got the leg over the arm, but Taylor did a great job shooting that arm back to the inside, back into a full guard.
Yeah, and when Taylor breaks he needs to posture up just a little bit. He's, you know, I've always learned there's one correct way to break the guard, and that's to stand up. And so,
yeah,
you know, even punching from there, throwing punches on the way up, it's just, you know, you got to be postured up. You stand up and you're postured down, you're leaving yourself susceptible to several other things.
Salinas with that attempt there and now loses position. Good work there from Andrews.
Salinas with the slick attacks off of his back, but you know that the guard game in MMA can be so unforgiving because you know you look sharp, you lose on energy, but at the end of the day, you just get your guard passed. Taylor's doing a good job, just being really defensive.
Ooh, nice.
And passing. Now he's right on a full back take with that body triangle locked in. Not a lot of time to work, but it's a great way to secure the round.
About 20 seconds left. That was slick transition work there from Andrews.
Yeah, still enough time to finish a choke, though, if he's able to lock it in. He's going palm to palm now. I think he should dole out some damage there from the top. He's starting to now.
Yeah, good call. Salinas covering most of these shots, but that's good activity there from Taylor. I mean, that definitely got him this round.
Yeah, definitely the first round to Taylor.
So for any of those geography enthusiasts, we looked up Salinas' hometown in Westlaco, Texas, and that's right on the border, just north of Monterey, right next to McAllen.
Probably spends a lot of time on Padre Island when he's not fighting.
Right in that valley area. You see that work there from Andrews.
Again, Salinas did a good job attacking off his back, but Taylor just had an answer defensively for everything. And he would really make Salinas pay every time he would, you know, dodge a triangle. He would end up hitting a guard pass. Worked his way to mount, took the back. I mean, Taylor's grappling was really sound.
Yeah, Taylor Andrews got in a little bit of trouble at one point, but was able to posture up, able to get out of it, able to improve his position to get the side control. And then, of course, into the round on the back, tried for the submission, but doled out a little punishment there at the end.
Next time we're back in Edinburgh, it might be time for the Fury FC broadcast team to do a quick road trip to Westlaco, Texas.
Yeah, nice little pop shot there from Taylor Andrews.
Yeah, it sure was
nice.
quick. We just got a
nice back.
Nice back take there from Taylor, trying to readjust the height of his hips. But we just got a first-hand audible noise, and these guys rubbing against the cage. Didn't sound comfortable. Nice drag from Taylor, but Salinas' hips are a little high, and that allows for those reversals. Man, Taylor with the immediate, you know, answer to that reversal. Salinas' hips are still a little high. Taylor comes on top. Salinas again looking for the neck. Again, it's under the chin. It's a classic grip. This is a deep one.
Ooh.
This is a good one.
Can Salinas finish this?
Used it to sweep. It's the next best thing you can hope for.
Yeah, he kind of gave up on it, maybe a little bit early, but maybe his hands were coming apart also. He's on top now. He's in complete control.
Getting some good punches in from the top.
Yeah, nice ground and pound, good body position.
Stay on the top side crucifix.
And these guys are right in front of us. They're a foot away from us.
And no catwalk today, so
no.
We are literally right up against the cage. You can see us in your shot.
Big shots there from Salinas as he uses this to insert on a single leg.
Yeah, and I think if Salinas would have calmed down a little bit, he landed 2 big shots and then went in for a takedown. If he would have kept throwing punches with just a little bit more, a little bit off of it, I think he could have landed a few more punches. Nice little drag down there by Taylor Andrews. Taylor's going to go for the back again. He's had some success on the back. Hasn't been able to finish it, but he's got about a little over a minute left.
Man, Salinas has shown some really good skill, but it's his fight IQ that he's just giving us some trouble. And no knock, he's just choosing to use his good skills, I believe, at the wrong times. You know, had he not shot for that single and just continued to punch, he wouldn't have been mounted down.
Yeah, fully mounted now. This is a bad position. About 45 seconds left. Got to get some. He's got to get up, postured up. Taylor Andrews got to get postured up.
He's grinding those frames, and I tell my students, if you're ever stuck in a bad spot and someone's really trying to hold you down and pin, you can frame ugly and use those forearms right across the face to guide him back down to the ground and create that space, and he did it now.
I trained jiu-jitsu with Alex, and he did that to me over and over.
Oh, it takes just that little bit of opening, right?
He didn't knock one of my teeth out. He pushed one out.
It was a technical frame is what it was.
Just adjusted the smile.
Yeah, that's right.
I say no bashing, but you can slide and frame. Sometimes at a higher level, it's the only way to make space.
Yeah, that's right. And Taylor Andrews finishing the second round about like he did the first. Finished the first on the back, finished the second here in the mount. Got to think both rounds belong to Taylor Andrews.
Yeah, I'd agree.
Really impressive, this groundwork so far for Taylor Andrews.
Yeah, Taylor Andrews, I mean, as a striker, you know, that he's got some pretty impressive groundwork, especially his submission defense. I mean, he's very aware that he's in trouble, but he's not freaking out. You know, he's improved his position first before he tries to escape, so that it's not tightening in a good position. So doing very, very well. I'd like to see him get at the end punches a little more. He's striking from a little bit close. He's like really tight striking, like you would if you were breaking from the clinch, even whenever they're not in the clinch. So he's striking really tight, grabbing the clinch, and then trying to hit him as he breaks. I like to see him get those long arms extended out a little bit and get Salinas on the end of those punches. But not a bad game plan. He's winning the fight so far.
Yeah, both guys looking pretty fresh. Salinas perhaps a bit more fresh, but he is down 2 rounds, unofficially.
Final round, 3-minute rounds, of course, amateur rules. By the way, we still have 3 more amateur fights coming your way. So have 4 more pro fights on the prelims, if time permits. If not, make sure you join us back here again. Nice slam there.
Very gentlemanly takedown.
Yeah, very controlled.
It's almost like you take one of your training partners down and just kind of put them on the ground where you're not slamming the ribs out of them.
I always give a subtle thank you to my training partners when they do that.
Yeah. That's always nice not to get hiked up and thrown on your shoulder blade.
Yeah. You know, after reading, you know, the stats and looking at everything, you hit the tie shorts of Taylor, and he's utilizing excellent wrestling and grappling. And then finding out that Salinas was a purple belt, he's had the better action on the feet. A bit of a...
Yeah, and it may have to do with something that, you know, maybe you're game planning for a win if you're Taylor Andrews. You know what I mean? You're game planning not, you know, to what you got knocked out last time. You want to go a little stronger, a little longer in the fight. You want to make sure you gain some confidence with some wins. So, you know, maybe the game planning was just for the win here. And, you know, perhaps he thought his wrestling was better and that he could hold him down.
Right, Collazo breaks him up, wants a little bit more action there.
I mean, cool. I'm never ever going to complain about that. But that was a quick one. But hey, he's got these guys boxed and they get in the 4-ounce gloves.
Yeah, it was almost like he was a fan in there. Like, I don't want to see that. Y'all get up.
Salinas pouring it on strong.
Yeah, hopefully his corner told him that he was down 2 rounds in between the second and third.
Oh, and good connects there from Salinas.
Yeah, he's landing big shots. He's got to look for underhooks right here.
Yeah. Michael, I think you're right where Andrews seems like just get that confidence up, execute a winning game plan, because he did not seem to want to trade in that at all.
No. And you could tell kind of the way he was protecting his face, the way he's protecting his chin. He's kind of half-hearted in his attempt to kind of get in there, just making sure he doesn't take any punches. Once he gets in, he's being very, very aggressive once he gets into the body lock.
Cage grab there.
I think he was just telling the head commission, if I have to warn him once more, I'm going to take a point. Oh, he is taking a point. That's fair. He said he did warn him. And to be fair, that did stop that takedown from happening. Even last night on the UFC broadcast, they said if the punishments were more severe, there would be less fouls, and I agree with that. And he resets him in the same spot. This ref is not playing games today. I like that. That's good.
Frank
Refs
Palazzo normally doesn't.
No, they don't. And you have to be very assertive if you're in the refereeing, because these guys' safety is in your hands.
Yeah, and we've said it before on our amateur fights that, you know, they will let these guys go as long as they will the pros as far as taking punishment and all that, but they also won't give them any leeway when it comes to breaking the rules, because they want them to establish that early in their career that this is not the way you do it. You can't, you know, make an amateur career off, you know, breaking the rules and still winning fights. So Salinas, unfortunately, is in a position here that he's probably not going to win this fight unless he can pull something out in his last 10 seconds, especially with a loss of point.
Yeah, I think we're going to see a 30-26 on the scorecards here in just a few minutes. Not a bad fight, not even a bad performance from Salinas. He was just edged out at the end of each round with that wrestling. But he had good moments. He had good strikes landed and good submission attempts. But Taylor Andrews just had an answer for everything.
Yeah, those two previous fights, I'm sure taught him a lot about, you know, kind of his stage awareness and kind of where the fight can go, or kind of how to take the fight, how to pace yourself. You know, all those things very, very important and part of the learning curve in your first couple of amateur fights.
Take a look at our round 3 highlights.
Yeah, and all 3 rounds kind of went the same, Raheel. They kind of, you know, started out with a striking exchange, and then when Taylor Andrews got tired of the striking exchange, he would go for that body lock and then eventually take him down to the ground. You know, 70% of the time that he took him down to the ground, he was stuck in somewhat of a submission attempt and was able to get out. I mean, it was almost the same. It was the same. All 3 rounds was just identical. And
not only would he get out, he would advance his position to a dominant spot. We saw him hit the mount. We saw him take the back. And it was really that fundamental position-heavy grappling that I believe allowed him to win this fight.
Yeah, good for him for improving his game and, you know, kind of realizing the mistakes that he made before. And, you know, at the very least, he didn't make the mistakes that he made in his previous fights to make him lose. He, you know, granted, it's a different opponent, it's a debut, but still, another man in there trying to impose his will on you, and he was able to stop him from doing that. Another one of those fights is very entertaining. You know, both guys, you know, fairly young, so, you know, we'll see these guys again, I'm sure.
I'm curious to see where Taylor Andrews is going to end up fighting in his career. 145, can he make that? Doesn't look like there's much weight left to be lost on his frame to get down to 135, but
yeah, I'd be curious to know what he weighs now, like what he weighed today, you know, on fight day, because I guarantee he's probably 155 pounds now, and so, yeah, you know, for some guys, they carry heavy, dense muscle, and they don't carry a lot of water weight, you know, whenever they're walking around, and so some people, you know, even a 10-pound weight cut is very difficult.
All right, so we're having some issues right now with the scoring, just getting it finalized. That's Wayne Leggett. You see us on the screen off right or off left. Just finalizing it, and
they probably haven't explained to Wayne how math works.
Hey, as long as Wayne doesn't have to work with the California Commission.
Oh my. Well, we'll get the official decision on the last few seconds.
All right, let's go inside to Wayne and see how they scored it.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 3 rounds of combat, we go to the judges' scorecards for a decision brought to you by Space City Collective. Judge Ray Campos scores the fight 30-26, Andrews. Kevin Reap scores the fight 28-28, and Judge John Herzog scores the fight 28-28, declaring this contest a majority draw.
Wow.
What?
So one judge got it right, 30-26. I mean, I'm not too sure what...
A majority draw.
That means 2 judges gave Salinas 2 rounds.
Yeah, I've never seen that in my career where someone's got a point deducted, especially in the 3rd round, and still won the fight when we felt like they were losing both rounds previously. I feel like only one judge was watching the fight. So, I mean, I always hate to be critical of the judges, but this one they got wrong.
All right, let's go inside to Wayne. We'll talk about that a little bit more, but let's meet our next fighter.
Please welcome to the blue corner, David Fuente.
All right, David Fuente, third fight as an amateur, won his debut in September of 2021 by knocking out Jose Macias in round 2. Lost via split decision to Randy Gonzalez earlier in the year. Blue belt and BJJ should have a powerful stand-up game and also nice kicks as he makes this walk out to the cage. Let's go back to that majority draw real quickly.
Yeah, Alex, I think I cut you off a little bit. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, that means the 2 judges gave, the Salinas 2 rounds out of 3, which I'm not too sure which rounds they could have given him. Maybe the guillotine attempt, but I mean, still, that's...
I don't know.
I mean, I love a guillotine more than anyone, but not that much.
Yeah, I mean, technically, if I wrap my hands around your neck at any point, that's an attempt. Doesn't mean it was effective. Doesn't mean that it should have scored, but oh well.
You know what? Just be thankful. I guess it was amateur fights. We'll make sure the fight pass and the pro fights are all, we're taking a really close look at those.
Man,
yeah, we'll go there and train them up between the broadcasts. How about that?
Thankfully now we got some light heavyweights, and these are like heavyweights, but they're more athletic. Maybe not more athletic, but they're usually a little leaner. And these guys can hit hard, they can move.
let's go inside to Wayne to meet his opponent.
Please welcome to the red corner, Aaron Meskini.
His opponent, Aaron Meskini. Second fight as an amateur, lost his debut back in February against Jason Pineda via Kimura. Gets to go back out, representing Southside Fight Club, fighting out of San Antonio, Texas. And I wanted to bring something up with you guys. Last week, during our broadcast, we had a scorecard overturned. So we initially thought that Aaron Gomez lost the fight. Later, the state had it wrong, and they overturned it, so it got fixed. I don't know if his last fight will get overturned or a score fixed, anything like that, but it hasn't happened recently as of last week.
Yeah, and we're not you can't think that mistakes can't happen, but, two people out of 3 that, kind of said the same thing. And the thing about it is they're not next to each other, so they can't talk. They can't discuss this. This isn't something they do at the end of the fight. This is between rounds that they turn in these cards. So
our tail of the tape for this light heavyweight division showdown brought to you by Bumpbox. 3-inch height advantage, 3-inch reach advantage as well for David Fuente, the younger of the fighters. Let's go inside to Wayne for our introduction.
Ladies and gentlemen, the following contest, brought to you by SheathUnderwear.com, is scheduled for 3 rounds in the Fury Amateur Series Light Heavyweight Division. Introducing your first competitor, fighting out of the blue corner. Standing 6 feet 2 inches tall, he weighed in at 204.4 pounds. Fighting out of San Antonio, Texas, he holds an amateur record of 1 win, 1 loss. This is David Fuente. And introducing his opponent across the cage, fighting out of the red corner. He stands 5 feet, 11 inches tall, and he weighed in at 204.4 pounds. Also fighting out of San Antonio, Texas, today he seeks his first win as an amateur. This is Aaron Meskini. Your referee in charge of the action, Nick Gonzalez.
All right, here we go. Little glove touch there. Meskini in the red. Fuente in the blue gloves.
Yeah, Alex, you hit on it a little bit with these guys. This is always they're basically heavyweights today in the cage, but they weigh in at light heavyweight, and not necessarily with these two, but man, when you see the guys at the highest level who are light heavyweights, man, some of those guys walk around at 235, 240. They're huge.
Their athletic potential is insane. Yuri Prochazka are the best example of the most terrifyingly built light heavyweight in the world.
Yeah, there's a long list of those guys that, 6'4", 6'5", walk around at 240, and you see them make 205, and they just run an ounce of fat, and plus, like you said, Alex, if they weren't fighters, they play running back in the NFL.
Yeah. Both these guys here tonight, they got pretty quick hands. Fuente threw a bit of a labored front kick early on, a little too comfortable, got it caught, got taken down as these guys exchange and break away.
Yeah, both guys trying to show us that knockout power now.
Big knee there from Fuente. His cage is getting its work. We're really testing the limits here. Like it. Nice dirty boxing, by the way, in that last clinch there from Fuente.
Yeah, a little bit of clinch work here, a little bit of dirty boxing going on. Both guys starting out very, very wiry, throwing a lot of big punches. Both guys enjoying those knees to the midsection of their opponent.
Yeah, Fuente's done a good job with the tie clinch with his knees. He lands a couple shots there in that dirty boxing range. So that kick was caught, but Meskini fell. It could have hurt him to the body, because that was a big, thick kick.
Yeah, I think that may have hurt him just a little bit, because he fell kind of down and started protecting himself before.
Ooh, now the ground and pound unloading for Fuente.
This is a tough position to get out of.
And it's very high on the back, so you have to be very careful here. It's difficult to get that choke whenever the head's that low, so you may want to dole out some punishment to reposition just a little bit.
30 seconds left, round one.
A good job staying ahead, I think. I was going to say, if he could have landed 4 or 5 more shots, they could have stopped that. Meskini's doing a good job trying to keep himself in this fight, but Fuente's landing some huge shots from the worst of the worst positions on his back and in mount.
10 seconds left. Is this going to be to stop it? Will the ghost step in? And no, he does not step in, so we will see no, hold on, the fight's over. 1 second left. Nick Gonzalez, the ghost, calls it. 1 second left. That is it. David Fuente is your winner.
Yeah, good stoppage too. The guy on bottom was busted up, and the ref really gave him every chance to survive that 10-second clapper. But Fuente just poured it on and got a huge TKO finish with a second left in the round.
Yeah, and even Meskini, whenever he came up, 1 second left, he kind of shook his head, acknowledging that, yeah, that was a stoppage. I just don't think, like we said earlier, they're not going to allow you to take as much damage here in the amateurs as they do the pros. Not that they allow you to take a lot of damage, because when you're not intelligently defending yourself, they're going to stop it no matter what level you are. But, that's about interpretation sometimes, and from the fighter's perspective, a lot of times it's not the same as the ref.
You look at our highlights, it was a nice, entertaining start for both guys.
Yeah, they both showed a well-rounded game. It was actually Meskini hitting a couple takedowns off of caught kicks, but it was really clinch work of Fuente, and then naturally the ground and pound, which was just ferocious and relentless, and he never let up, not for 1 second. It didn't matter how much time was left in the round. That's what got him the win. And you guys can see it really, Meskini was really bloodied up at the end of that round.
Yeah, and you see that body kick there that landed, Alex. He kind of caught it, but did a little too much damage, and then it was just an onslaught.
Yeah, that body, you're right, Michael. That changed everything. The body language, the kind of just gave up position there after that attempt.
Yeah, that's it. Kind of bullying him around a little bit before that, every time they clinched. But
let's go inside to Wayne to make this official.
Ladies and gentlemen, referee Nick Gonzalez calls for a stop to the action. 2 minutes, 59 seconds into the very first round. Declare your winner by TKO, David Fuente.
Congratulations to David Fuente getting his second win as an amateur. Nice there.
Yeah, both guys throwing some shots. Both guys landing pretty good shots there to start the fight. And just once they got around, Fuente was just too much.
All right, we got a couple more amateur fights to get going. Let's meet our next fighter in just a second. We get our final pictures here. And let's go inside to Wayne to meet our next fighter.
Please welcome to the blue corner, Angel Cortez.
Angel Cortez, 1-0, won his debut at Fury FC 61 against Alexander Sanchez. Michael, you'll remember Angel because he has that hug your homies tattoo.
Yeah, he's a very entertaining guy. You know, he's got the hair, he's a good-looking kid, and he's very, very interesting tattoos. So yeah, this is one of those guys that you hope he gets some time under his belt, hope he gets a few fights under his belt, and is able to win because he's very entertaining to watch, and you want to see him get to the next level as quickly as possible. So, you know, he's got the look, he's got the skill, or he showed last time that he had the skill. So we'll see how he does this time against Jason Lambert.
Yeah, Angel's built really well. I think the best stat that's really sticking out on the sheet is he's only 19 years old, which is always fun.
Yeah, it's kind of funny watching them develop their personality and what kind of fighter they're going to be.
Let's go inside to Wayne to meet his opponent.
Please welcome to the red corner, Jason Lambert.
Jason Lambert making his amateur debut. The 25-year-old fighting out of St. Pete, Florida, representing Pinnacle MMA.
Yeah, Jason wanted me to thank his mom and dad for making a beast of a son. So shout out to mom and dad. Making his debut here, so we'll see what kind of beast he is. Also wanted to shout out his girlfriend Samantha for the Costco snacks, keeping him healthy through this camp.
Nice.
So, you know, it's one of those things where you don't really know how healthy you are in your debut. You're like, I think I'm ready, and I'm training well, and it's one of those things where once that cage closes and there's someone in your face going full speed, it becomes completely different. So hopefully Samantha's health plan helped him.
Our tail of the tape brought to you by Howler Head Whiskey. You'll see the 1-inch height advantage for Jason Lambert, as well as that 1-inch reach advantage for the 25-year-old. Both guys did make weight for this lightweight division showdown. Let's go inside to Wade for our introduction.
Ladies and gentlemen, the following contest brought to you by BumpBox.com is scheduled for 3 rounds in the Fury Amateur Series lightweight division. Introducing to you first, fighting out of the blue corner, standing 5 feet 9 inches tall, he weighed in officially at 155.6 pounds. Fighting out of Mission, Texas, he holds an amateur record of 1 win, no losses. This is Angel Cortez. In introducing his opponent across the cage, fighting out of the red corner, standing 5 feet 10 inches tall, he weighed in at 154.2 pounds. Fighting out of St. Petersburg, Florida, today he makes his amateur debut. This is Jason Lambert. Your referee in charge of the action, Nick Gonzalez.
Angel's got great power, but he doesn't move his head much.
Yeah, everything with him is like very, very slow and very, very methodical. But you're right, Alex, he's very heavy on his feet. Likes throwing those leg kicks. What do you think?
He really shined on the ground against Alexander Sanchez. Wanted to be a ground and pound, but super heavy top game. Just like his stand-up.
That was a really well-timed shot from Angel, but Lambert read it well, hit a deep overhook, turned into a wizard, got his hips up, and backed out of there.
Yeah, I think Cortez would have done well to maybe, he was a little high on the shot. You know, he came in a little bit high, and kind of grabbed that body lock instead of maybe going for the legs and a conventional single or double leg. But had the explosiveness, got in hip to hip, and then kind of went up for the win a little too tall.
Now the pace slowing down just a little bit, but the work not, of course.
Yeah, Angel has really good inside head control with an underhook on the same side. I always call that a dominant underhook. When you have the underhook and then your head on the same side, on the inside of your partner's kind of framework, and you can just really get him tall and keep him from attacking.
Yeah, and it helps him a little bit that Jason Lambert's a little taller than him. Able to get that right under that chin. It's almost in a perfect spot where he's, you know, trying to get him on his toes. So he can't put a lot of weight down. Not able to do any damage there, and they're separated now back to the center of the cage.
Under 1 minute, round one. Back to the fence we go.
One thing I'm noticing from Angel is they exchanged right hands early in the fight, and he keeps touching his nose. I know he got punched in it. Oh, man, that was another close takedown. Tim Lambert's not willing to give anything up. But one thing about not really moving in and out or moving your head is your opponent knows exactly when to evade. Like the moment the person is on much forward, they know to do something defensive. Whereas when you're moving your head, moving your feet in and out, it can be a lot harder to predict when the person's action to commit to a shot or a punch. And I study that well because when I fight guys, I like kind of pray for them not to move their head so I can have a stationary target.
Yeah, and also whenever they don't move their head or they're not bouncing around a little bit, you can kind of pay attention and, you know, to their shoulder movement and their hip movement. You know, if their hips move, they're going to throw a kick. If their shoulders move, they're throwing a punch. And so it at least makes you be a little bit more evasive, you know, when they don't move their head.
You know what? That's a tough round to score.
Yeah.
Lambert gave up nothing. He gave up nothing. But, you know, Angel was the one looking for the takedowns, and he got deep on 3. But Lambert just shut him down.
You know,
I mean, if that's not a coin, you know, a coin flip of a round, I don't know what it.
Well, and I hate to even talk about scoring after what happened in the last one, but you know, we don't want to even think about it. Hopefully, one of these guys will get a finish.
Yeah.
And we won't have to worry about that because I'm not saying the judge is suspect tonight. Maybe they want to go home or something. But
yeah.
We hate to be critical of that, but man, that was awful.
That was bad.
really impressed with Lambert takedown defense, as you mentioned, Alex.
And I think Lambert landed the bigger shots. He landed a couple of shots, overhand rights there. I think he might have landed the bigger shot, although Cortez had one big shot also. But like you said, Alex, the cage control, he kind of controlled where the match went, but he wasn't able to do anything with it.
And both guys are talking to each other now. A little chirping going on before the start of round two. Like this energy from both of these amateurs.
Yeah,
and Cortez sprints out to the center again. Alex, the heavy feet of Cortez just staying extremely tight. It does help you with a little bit of power, but like I said, it's punches and kicks are extremely forecasted whenever you do that.
Yeah, and his technique is really good, and his power is great. It's not that, it's very predictable. Like, you know when to try to evade and defend.
Yeah, Cortez went for a leg kick there, and it got checked, and I think it hurt Cortez a little bit.
He lost his footing.
Lost his footing, then limped around a little bit on that leg. Cortez asking him what he's waiting for. Looks like Lambert's content on counter-punching here. He hasn't really initiated. That's the first kind of punch exchange he's initiated, but he kind of threw a jab out there, but really was trying to close the distance, it looked like. You see Lambert throwing those feints out.
And I'll tell you, if Cortez does land something flush, it's going to hurt because he's really planted to the ground.
Oh, yeah, that wide stance, and those punches are coming from his hips. They're coming from far away. If they do land, they're going to hurt for sure.
Another attempt here from Cortez and unable to finish. Man, Lambert has awesome defense here.
Yeah, he's got to get a little more active with his hands. He's got to, you know, those shots are successful because he's not throwing anything in the face. Every time he gets close enough and in the pocket to shoot, Lambert needs to be throwing a jab out there to kind of keep him at bay, or, you know, a front kick or something to keep it out there. Maybe not the front kick because he'll get taken down again, you know, get taken down. And he's done a good job so far of defending from his feet. But, yeah, just he's got to get a little more active with his hands.
Under 1 minute left, round 2. Good kick there from Cortez.
Cortez must have got the feeling back in his leg, Alex.
Yeah. It's good to see Lambert stalking a bit more. But Michael, you called it right. I think Lambert's activity can go up just a bit. And I know he's trying not to overswing to get taken down. Oh, nice little kick to a right hand there from Lambert.
Yeah, here they go. Lambert admiring his work a little bit there.
One thing I think Lambert could also, oh, nice big right hand there from Angel, is if Lambert can just fake in real hard and try to get Cortez to bite on a big planted shot, he can then re-enter and land the crisp punches that we have seen those spare.
Yeah, and I think a 1-2-3 combination with a knee up after that would be extremely beneficial for Lambert. Nice takedown there, last double leg right there at the end of the round.
First completed takedown of the fight, if I'm not wrong, I believe so.
Yeah, I would score that if I was a jiu-jitsu ref. I'd give him 2 points for that one.
But up until that, in round 1, 3 attempts, no completed takedown from Cortez. In round 2, went 0 for 2 to start as well. So finally gets one. But Lambert's been really good, man. Impressed with Lambert's debut fight.
Yeah, Lambert really good takedown defense, except for right there at the end. But it's because the takedown was initiated on the other side of the cage. He needed the whole distance to go down and finally get that takedown. Yeah, Lambert's got to get a little more active, Alex.
Yeah, Lambert's bouncing around too. A really interesting fact, you see the referee taping up Lambert's gloves. Notice there was no tape on his gloves. And they do that for the Velcro to scrape the fighters, which is cool. It's a great good catch there from the ref. Or I think they actually cut off the red tape that was on there and just did a better job. Either way, great eye from the referee.
That was Frank Collazo who got in there and retaped the gloves. Nick Gonzalez, the ghost. Inside mouthpiece. We got the mouthpiece and all the retaping. Forgot one of the most important pieces of equipment.
And we're back to it.
Here we go. Round 3.
Forgot something. It's amazing how much that mouthpiece becomes part of your arsenal. You know, there's a lot of times whenever I'm training, I never even train without a mouthpiece, but a lot of times whenever I'm training with my mouthpiece in, I'll be in the shower before I realize I haven't taken it out yet. So,
nice
very important
kicking.
piece of your equipment.
Good counter right there from Lambert as well in that exchange. Do you sleep with the mouthpiece, Michael?
No, I don't snore, and I sleep like I'm in a coffin. So
it's like a sleep apnea mouthpiece.
That's one thing. Granted, I remember we had a whole third round in a title fight about mouthpieces last week.
Yeah.
Invest in a good mouthpiece. Oh, look at that. Balance.
Oh, there it is.
Nice, good chain wrestling there from Angel. Making all this effort worthwhile. Getting some top control time.
This is Jason Lambert was trying to create some space there, putting it in the hips. Cortez does a good job of kind of dividing his hips and kind of turning to one side, letting those feet slip by, and then closing the distance there.
This is where Angel was so good in his debut fight as an amateur at Fury FC 61. And both these guys are just talking to each other, having a conversation right now.
Well, he's got to do something because they're not going to let him sit in this position and be inactive for very long. A minute and 40 seconds left, still plenty of time to work here. Jason Lambert needs to get off of his back. He's not only on his back, but he's also got his head crunched against the cage, so his body's a little out of alignment, so he's not strong in this position. Not a place you can submit from.
Yeah, plus when your neck's all jammed up, it makes it really hard to articulate your hips. Go for submissions, even hit get-ups. And Lambert's doing a good job really trying to find opportunities to get up, but Angel's all over it. Just got a nice little wrist ride.
You see the Hug Your Homies tattoo, Alex, on the left bicep area of Angel Cortez. Angel was actually joining us on commentary there for a second. He said something. I couldn't make it out.
Yeah, I think he's the next champ. He's the next generation.
Might as well interview him right here, Michael.
Yeah.
I mean,
He's got to win the fight.
yeah. It's a lot of confidence for this young fighter. I like it.
Yeah, that's what promoters look for, Joe. Nice uppercut there from Lambert.
Got a mouthpiece out.
His mouthpiece is out of there. Maybe Lambert's actually don't know. Lambert's mouthpiece, then it's back in. Get that mouth guard. Don't even call it timeout.
No.
So this is definitely an Angel round.
20 seconds left. Man, he has some strong top kick.
Yeah, he's got a head and arm choke here. He's got 10 seconds. Let's see if he can finish this.
Nice deep.
Can we get the finish here? Angel Cortez working up against the clock, and Jason Lambert will survive, and we will go to the scorecard.
So third round was Angels for sure. First 2 rounds were close. Could have gone either way, honestly.
Yeah, I don't want to comment on the. I don't want to try to guess on the judging because I don't know. I mean, they could have gave it 30-27 to Lambert now. Who knows? So I don't know, man. It was that's again tough when it calls. Two young guys, very early in their career. One debut, one with 1 fight under his belt. I think we're going to see a victory. I mean, if it were normal, under normal circumstances, I think that's maybe Cortez victory, maybe by split decision. But yeah, it's very, very tough. Nice chain wrestling there in the third round, like you said. Alex able to get him down to the ground and keep him there. Jason Lambert not doing a very good, not doing a lot to be able to get up from there. He's kind of, it looked like whenever he had this head and arm choke there at the end of the fight, like he may not get up and answer the bell.
That was deep.
Yeah, because if he wouldn't have got up, just so you know, if the bell rings and he can't answer and he can't get up, the fight's over, and that's a submission win.
Yeah, that's another one of those scenarios. If that was 30 seconds sooner, I think we actually would have seen a submission. That was deep, and Lambert's tough as they get, and he knew he was going to grit it out until the end of that round, but that was definitely deep.
Yeah, and by doing so, he probably gave up the round. I mean, he was already losing, but who knows? He could have got up from there and, landed a couple more punches. You never know.
Really impressed by both of these fighters. The 19-year-old Angel Cortez, Jason Lambert, the 25-year-old, bright futures ahead. Let's go inside and see how the judges scored this fight.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 3 rounds of combat, we go to the judges' scorecards for a decision brought to you by Space City Collective. With scores of 29-28, 30-27, and 29-28, your winner by unanimous decision, Angel Cortez!
All right, congratulations to Angel Cortez, moving his record to 2-0, undefeated as an amateur. And a nice debut from Jason Lambert. Really impressed with what he showed. Again, bright futures for both of these fighters. Can't wait to see what is going to happen in their careers. One more amateur fight left. Final thoughts on that fight?
Yeah, I'm excited to see Angel fight again. He's young. He had a good performance. I've got to look out for him.
All right, let's meet our next fighter.
Please welcome to the blue corner, Micah White.
Micah White, 6th amateur fight, 4-1 record. Started his amateur career going 3-0 in Fury. Had 1 win in 2019, had 2 wins in 2021. Has gone 1-1 since then. As Micah White had one of the rare standing guillotine chokes, lost. So something he's probably been working on, the flyweight.
Yeah, those standing guillotines are tricky, especially whenever you're a shorter guy. For these flyweights, they're so fast, they're so strong. If you've ever rolled with a competitive flyweight MMA guy, it's pretty amazing. Even a flyweight woman, it's pretty amazing how strong they are and how quick they are. But yeah, anytime you get finished with a standing guillotine, there's definitely a learning curve there for submission defense. Something that is typically fairly easy to defend, but somebody stands up and gets those hooks in, gets you up against the cage, wherever the situation was, it can be very difficult to get out.
Yeah, he's at Glory MMA. They got a lot of guys from the UFC. This is a very highly touted amateur fight, our final amateur fight of the night.
Fighting out of Houston, Texas is Michael White. Let's meet his opponent. Here's Wayne Leggett.
Please welcome to the red corner, Brenton Gutierrez.
You hear that cheer, San Antonio's own, making his way out, Brandon Gutierrez. 6 fights as an amateur, 3-2 record. Fighting out of Southside Fight Club.
Yeah, Brandon Gutierrez, part of our last amateur fight here. Looks like he brought a lot of fans in here to Cowboys Dance Hall tonight. This place is sold out, and typically we're here on the undercards. We don't see the venue full yet. Not the case tonight. Seen it 2 weeks in a row now. The venue was full right from the start.
Absolutely. Last time we were here as well, earlier in the summer, it was packed already. Yeah. San Antonio loves fights.
That's right.
They love their fighters.
They love the Dallas Cowboys, and they love to fight.
Yep. Love the energy here in San Antonio. By the way, we've got 4 more pro fights as well. We'll see how many we get to with time permitting. Let's look at our tail of the tape for the flyweight division showdown. 2-inch height advantage, 2-inch reach, or excuse me, even on the reach in this fight. The 27-year-old Brandon Gutierrez with that height advantage, and Micah White, the 19-year-old. A lot of youngsters on this amateur card. Love seeing that. Let's go inside to Wayne for our introductions.
Ladies and gentlemen, the following contest brought to you by the Fury Unleashed podcast, available on Apple, Spotify, and YouTube, is scheduled for 3 rounds in the Fury Amateur Series Flyweight Division. Introducing to you first, fighting out of the blue corner. Standing 5 feet 4 inches tall, he weighed in officially at 124.8 pounds. Fighting out of Houston, Texas, he holds an amateur record of 4 wins. Only 1 defeat. This is Micah Dynamite White. And introducing his opponent across the cage, fighting out of the red corner. Standing 5 feet 6 inches tall, he weighed in at 124.5 pounds. Fighting out of the Southside Fight Club in San Antonio, Texas, he holds an amateur record of 3 wins. Only 2 defeats. This is El Cañonero, Brenton Gutierrez. Your referee in charge of the action, Kerry Hatley.
All right, first time for Kerry Hatley inside the cage, in charge of the action. Final instructions, here we go. A little Houston San Antonio showdown.
And Gutierrez is a decent-sized flyweight, too.
A lot of experience between both of these amateur fighters, nearing that mark where they might decide to go pro.
And you can kind of see in the stance, Alex, with both of these guys. Both these guys, you know, have 5 fights each as amateurs. Both guys look way more relaxed. Both guys kind of know how to use the cage. They're, you know, again, we have some spots where guys are good at certain things, but these guys both look relaxed and at home inside the cage there.
Yeah, they both move really well. A lot of feints. You're not crossing the feet. They're keeping a really strong stance. Both guys have thrown some good high kicks each.
Loud check there of that kick.
There's a super sprawl there from Cannon.
Yeah, Michael White was a little bit far away. He tried to shoot from outside the pocket. Just a little bit long for him. He's very, very fast. Ooh.
So yeah, Micah was throwing a high kick as Brandon was also throwing like a body kick, and it just kind of split him between the legs. It was not intentional. That was one of those fateful low blows. I mean, if Micah hadn't thrown the kick, that low blow wouldn't have landed. One of those things. It's just unfortunate. It's more over cups. That was a good one too.
All right, let's take a replay look. See how hard that connected. It almost looked like a flush knee shin there.
Yeah, that was a very, very hard shot.
And we'll see. We actually had Gutierrez ask us, like, what happened there. Alex just explained to him just that, hey, look, it happens sometimes. As you mentioned, it's just that perfect timing, Alex.
And that was shin. I mean, that shin to cup or hip flex. I mean, that's a pretty bad one. It's good Mike is taking his time.
Here's another replay. Oh. That got all of the cup.
Yeah.
Even that top back part. Oh.
Man, I'll tell you what, there's parts of that cup that still expose a few parts that that may have been reached from there. That, man, that's the worst kind of shot to take, because, you know, the cup basically only keeps you from dying from it. It still hurts. It still, you know, keeps you from vomiting.
Props to Micah for getting right back to it. That was a good low blow.
Man, anybody else get that pit in their stomach on that second replay at home? All right, nice high kick there, just to show it for Micah. Gutierrez coming off his first loss, back at Fury FC 56.
Gutierrez throwing some bad intentions.
Yeah.
Right now, every punch right now, he's trying to throw hard and fast. He has bad intentions here. Let's get this fight over with very quickly.
Little duo counterpunch exchange there from Micah. Got an underhook, turned to the bigger Gutierrez to his back on the cage.
Yeah, doing a good job of blocking that hip with that right leg. Almost had a throw there.
That was a head and arm throw. It was a risky, though, because you don't have an underhook, and guys can come out the back and take your back.
Yeah, we talked about that a lot, Alex. You don't like those throws. You don't like those lateral throws. And, you know, I agree with you. They're very, very risky. And, you know, a lot of times we don't see those go well. Not so much in the first round. They're not, you know, as sweaty. But, you know, as you get later in the rounds, it almost just leaves the arsenal.
Yeah, as it should.
About 20 seconds left, first round.
Both guys so well measured. They're throwing hard and throwing really well, but they're both just sliding out of the range of each other's strikes. Right there, a great example of good range awareness and head movement from Gutierrez as the guys exchange, but again, nothing too flush landing for either man.
Yeah, Gutierrez looking to knock the lights out of Michael White right now.
Yeah.
Hard punches right there at the end of the round.
Well, really impressed with Michael White, keeping cool, calm the entire time, even during those big flurries, not panicking at all.
Yeah, this is a tall order for a 19-year-old. Not only is Brandon Gutierrez at a prime 27, but he's big for the weight class. He's experienced. He's mean.
Yeah, he's explosive, man. He's throwing those kicks right through the guard of Michael White, trying to kick the head off. He's not kicking to the head. He's kicking through the head. And which is the way you're supposed to do it, but man, those even though they're getting blocked, man, those are taking a toll on the forearms of Michael White, guaranteed.
Look at round one highlights here. Those kicks you were talking about. There's that cup check. Mike can continue and looks some nice combos. Round two, Dynamite, Micah White. No hit there.
It's a big left-hander from Brandon. Micah chooses to shoot. Stuffed in on a single right now. He's trying to build his way back up. And limited success, but he's going to hit with some good ground and pound. He's really feeling the hips of Brandon as he finishes the takedown.
And very nice. Close to getting the back there. Try to drag him across his legs. You really just kind of throw those hips into those legs instead of trying to drag him across and trip him.
Mike is really dealing with the physical prowess here of Gutierrez, the older fighter. And I'd say comfortably the bigger fighter, too. Nice, doesn't matter, though. Micah powers through, hits another double, and now he's got full back exposure.
Michael White has the back of El Canonero.
Yeah, he's got one hook in, and unfortunately it's the top hook. He does have a figure four that's down on the floor, which is not the place you want it to be. Still okay for, for control if he's not trying to defend it, which Gutierrez is not. He's paying attention to the hands right now. Right
under the chin. Just under the chin.
That is in deep, and that is it. Michael White gets the tap in round 2 of Brandon Gutierrez.
Huge win there for Michael White. I mean, that was a tall order. That was a very tough opponent, a mean opponent, a big opponent, and he just really had to rely on his technical ability, his skill set, and the timing of the wrestling and the transition to the back to secure that choke. And he got hit with the biggest punch of the whole fight right before that wrestling exchange. Congratulations to Michael White. It's a huge victory.
Yeah, once he got to the ground, Alex, his transitions were fast. They were perfect. Didn't make any mistakes on the ground. Once he got to the back, we were talking about how he only had one hook in. It was a top hook, and that was technically wrong, but he made the best of it, was able to finish that choke from that position.
Does Fury FC have his next homegrown talent? 5-1 now, Michael White, all his wins in Fury. Love to see that. We see so many of the amateurs who make their pro debuts go on to successful pro careers as well. Love to see that. Michael White might be that next fighter that could do it. Impressive win. Let's make this official. Let's go inside to Wade.
Ladies and gentlemen, the end comes. 1 minute, 18 seconds into round number 2. Declaring your winner by tap out due to a rear naked choke, Micah Dynamite White.
Man, super impressed by Michael White. All right, so for everyone that's watching our prelims, thank you so much for joining us on Fury FC 68. The prelims, we've got one more fight. We're going to go to Michael Martinez taking on Blue Vasquez, but after that, we will join you back again for some quick bouts. But let's get this final fight of our prelims going.
Please welcome to the blue corner, Michael Martinez.
Final fight of our prelims. Michael Martinez making his way out. It's going to be a pro fight now, everyone watching. 1-3 record for Michael Martinez. First time in the Fury FC cage.
Yeah, but every time Michael Martinez comes out, this guy takes a lot of chances. He's got kind of an upside-down record, but every one of those losses since he was an amateur have been finishes. So what that tells me is he goes out there, he throws it all out in there, and comes after his opponents, and has come out on the wrong end sometimes. And sometimes those fights are exciting to watch, but it doesn't bring you many victories.
Fighting out of San Antonio, Texas is Michael Martinez. Lozano MMA representing them in this featherweight showdown. We wait for Michael Martinez. Let's take a look at some highlights of that impressive win by Michael White.
Yeah, it was him getting hit with that big punch that made him do all this successful wrestling, which eventually led to that back taking this finish.
Yeah, and that showed his, even as an amateur fighter, Alex showed his fight IQ there, that he was taking some big punches. He thought he probably had the position on could get the better on the ground. Immediately started wrestling. He was right. Once he got there, it was lights out. Here we go, Michael Martinez. Only one glove on.
All right, this is going to be interesting. Michael Martinez, the first time I've seen it where one glove on.
Wonder how warmed up he is. I'll tell you. And one thing, I always get compliments from the UFC staff, the cutmen, the guys who wrap the hands. The moment I get to the arena, I get all my gear on, I get my hands wrapped to get my gloves on, get the mouthpiece in. And then I get comfortable, then I get warm, but I do it as early as possible. It's like if you're going into a fight and you get to choose your weapon early. Like, of course you want to. So I'm not too sure how prepared he is coming into this one. There could have been some issues to get his hands wrapped up, looking sharp. It's been a poorly fitted pair of gloves.
All right, so they're going to get some new gloves on here for Michael Martinez.
Not exactly sure what's going on here, but we have the state officials over there, we have referee, we have the cut men, we have the promoter.
You know, there could have been a tear. There's no tell. We'll try to get that story later. One funny story. One time, this is for a pretty high-level fight. It was a prelim, you know, a debuting pro. He didn't know he had to have a cup on, which is insane. So he's got no cup, and the ref's like, I can't let you fight. So I actually ran to the back and grabbed some duct tape that was in my corner bag. And I said, hey, I've seen this done before. You can duct tape his cup to his boxer shorts.
Okay.
And his corner man duct taped his cup on, and it worked. And they fought. He lost, naturally. But that was probably one of the funniest wardrobe malfunctions I've ever seen before a fight. Wow. But I had... There we go. I had one of my young amateurs do a kickboxing match, like a smoker fight. He was young. He was like 12. And his dad didn't know he had to have a cup. So I actually duct taped the cup to him. So that's where I got the idea from.
Nice.
Blue Vasquez making his debut as a professional. Has fought twice for Fury FC as an amateur. Hasn't fought since May of 2019, making his debut now, Michael.
Yeah, he started his amateur career with a win by decision, and he's been the distance in 3 of those 4 amateur fights. So he's got a little cage time. You know, he wasn't able to have a winning record in there, but again, that really doesn't matter whenever you're an amateur, because you never know who you're getting whenever you never know if you're getting the next superstar whenever you're fighting these amateur guys. So you just never know. You never know when you're, you know, 0-1, and then your second opponent is Alex Morano. You just never know. You just never know how that's going to go. So I don't think a lot of, you know, I don't hold a lot of weight on their amateur record, because especially whenever it's been 2 years ago. I'm sure he's improved quite a bit in the last 2 years, 2 or 3 years.
Our tail of the tape brought to you by Sheath Underwear. The height advantage, the reach advantage for the younger of the fighters. Blue Vasquez, purple belt in purple belt in jiu-jitsu, should have a good ground game. Let's get our official introductions. Here is Wayne Leggett.
Ladies and gentlemen, the following contest, brought to you by Space City Collective, is scheduled for 3 rounds in the Fury FC featherweight division. Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner, standing 5 feet 8 inches tall, he weighed in at 146 pounds. Fighting out of San Antonio, Texas, today he seeks his 2nd victory as a professional. This is Michael Martinez. And introducing his opponent across the cage, fighting out of the red corner, standing 6 feet tall, he weighed in officially at 144.2 pounds. Also fighting out of San Antonio, Texas, today he makes his professional debut. This is the Dark Horse, Blue Vasquez. Your referee in charge of the action, Nick Gonzalez.
Blue Vasquez with the red gloves. I feel like should have been in the blue.
And the pink hair and the ring girl shorts.
Blue also in his free time does a lot of psychedelic art. You can follow his account, darkhorse_2_light. Want to throw that out there. Support. Yeah.
He got a right hand on him. 2 good right hands, big knee there from his opponent, and Michael Martinez.
He's in for the body clinch. He's got a nice hug on him there, and his hands are together, but he needs to clasp those hands together. Get that in a little bit tighter. Close that distance. Doing a good job of keeping the hands down.
The Dark Horse training out of Unity Training Center.
Both guys got to be careful getting very close to those cup shots there with those knees.
Curious if Blue's trying to hand off Michael's wrist behind him with the wrist ride.
It looks like he's trying.
It's really hard. That's a big brother move, so it's great when you can do it. But it's hard to do.
Yeah, and especially whenever your opponent's got their arm extended all the way down and in front of them. You really need to have that, your body weight on the other side to be able to kind of bully that arm to your other hand. You can see you can get it high here. It looks like you could almost grab his elbow there, but it's not the position you want to be in still. It's really easy to get that out. Got to get it down there by the wrist.
The ref's looking close. He's already told him to stay active once.
See if Nick Gonzalez breaks this up and go back to the center.
Both guys trying to throw some knees there. You see Vasquez trying to get around that front leg, the right leg of Michael Martinez.
Blue's got a full body lock now. And for those watching at home, these are now 5-minute rounds. Just a little more time to work.
There must be something on this fencing here because it seems like every fight has ended right in front of us, or has gone right in front of us at some point, which I love.
Man, I'd say Michael has landed the better of the strikes in this clinch. Even those backs on the cage, he's landed some good knees to the midsection here of Blue.
Blue Vasquez has had double underhooks a couple of times with his legs or his hands locked behind the back. Wasn't able to do anything with it. Nice little overhand right by Michael Martinez.
Man, with Michael's arm stuffed and his head low, it seems like Blue could have tried a guillotine, could have tried a triangle, but he really didn't do either.
Yeah, I thought that's what he was going
for.
But I couldn't really understand.
Yeah.
Why, or you know, sometimes you like to go for that shoulder lock, especially in the first round, attacking that arm. But he didn't. You know, you got to create an angle there to do that, which he had the opportunity to do. He just didn't do it.
Looking for Kimura is Blue.
And got to be careful here. This is a good position for a Kimura. And what you want to do with this, you see him, he's trying to push the wrist through the leg. You don't want to do that. You want to pull that elbow into your chest as tight as possible. Or take your chest to that elbow and then pull it towards you with your core and then work that arm out and get it behind their back. That's the best way to finish your Kimura.
You can finish it.
There is a sweep from there that you can complete also. Michael Martinez got to be careful here.
Yeah, that can get out of hand quick. There we go. He did a good job using that moment to get his lower half past Blue's lower half and past the guard.
Yeah, and Blue's grabbing in some awkward spots, and so it's leaving him susceptible to, well, what just happened is he's taking his back, kind of reached down and grabbed that ankle on the far leg, and he just reached over and put his other leg around his body.
About 40 seconds left in round one. Michael Martinez with the advantage here right now. Peppering in some shots. And now some bigger shots.
Even though Michael's been on the defensive end of the clinch game and the takedown game, he's definitely landed the better shots.
Yeah, I almost feel like Blue Vasquez is using this clinch game just as a defense mechanism to not take punishment. And he's doing a decent job of it from certain positions, but it's making him very vulnerable in others.
It's a great call play. Even when they were up against the caging here on our side, there really was nothing. There's no offensive game plan there. It just felt like he was in that position of holding.
Holding him, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's a game plan. It's not a good one. It's not a great one. It's not a fun one to watch, but it's a game plan. And his coach is on him now, letting him know the opportunities he probably missed out on in that first round. I think he had the best opportunity in that first round. He made the best opportunities for himself, but just wasn't able to capitalize on them.
Yeah.
He had the body clinch a couple of times. He had, no space, double underhooks. Yeah, you'll see where he goes down to the ground. That guillotine where it looked like he could have had a guillotine position there, Alex. Michael Martinez doing all the damage there. And Alex, I don't know if you noticed, but Michael Martinez, whenever they broke him for the break between rounds, he was kind of wincing, and it was almost like he took a cup shot there at the end or something, or maybe one of his legs was hurt.
Yeah, I'd be curious to see what that turns into. Michael came out swinging hard. He landed some big shots through a jump knee. kind of back here on the cage. Didn't take very long.
Yeah, and obviously Blue Vasquez came out with a game plan to kind of make this a dirty boxing match. You want to make this as dirty as possible. Seemingly not wanting to get in there and exchange with Michael Martinez, and rightfully so. Michael Martinez throwing with some bad intentions in there when he's at range.
Seems like Michael Martinez totally comfortable in this position. Let's see if Blue will kind of tire himself out here.
Yeah, and this style of fighting is tiring for both fighters. I know, Alex, we've talked about this before, where, you know, kind of holding the weight of the other fighter and then trying to drag the other one down, you know, in these 5-minute rounds. It's grueling to do this for 5 minutes.
Yeah, and Blue's corner was calling for the single, and they were being pretty, you know, animated about it. Oh, now we see the guillotine attempt from Michael. I mean, it's in there. It's under the chin.
Hands connected.
He does need that left. Michael needs his left leg around the waist of Blue if he wants to put his hips into this front choke. Anytime you're doing a guillotine, you got to get the non-choking side leg around the waist. Anytime you're getting guillotined, you want to pass the guard to the non-choking side. That is often a make or break point for these chokes.
Yeah, and if Blue Vasquez moves that right arm around the leg, he's in danger of being guillotined here. It's very difficult for the standing guillotine. Blue Vasquez putting a little bit of pressure on that elbow.
And Blue could finish this if he just swings out hard to his right side, step his right leg over, swings hard, and we get a reset. That's cool. They weren't doing much.
Yeah, not doing much from there, but
the guillotine attempt was already loose anyways.
Yeah.
And again, we go back to this familiar position.
Yeah, this is obviously Blue Vasquez. This is what he wanted to do in this fight. He wanted to push him up against the cage, make this kind of dirty. He's had good submission defense from over there. You know, didn't put his hand out of position or his arm out of position so that Martinez could lock up that guillotine, which was on his neck. He had a good position to start with.
Yeah, one thing, you see Michael's got the underhook with his right arm. Why he's not lifting and turning is I believe, a misplay. And, like, it's one thing to, like, get your back put on the cage, but to not really try to volley for that cage control, that's something I'm always super conscious of in my fights. If my back's on the cage, I'll keep a little time in my head, and I'll always try to turn it and at least score that same time back, if not instantly break away.
Yeah, it almost feels like he's trying to use the referee as part of his strategies. You know, he's kind of hoping the referee will break him apart and put him back in the middle of the cage. I just think that's a mistake. Anytime you try to use, you know, the referee's discretion as a part of your game plan for, you know, where the fight takes place, I think that's a huge mistake.
And Michael was looking to get his hands together on the guillotine. Blue kind of commits to a takedown, but ends up on his back.
Yeah, Michael Martinez needs to kind of settle down here and get down in that, get his hips down, and throw some punches here from this topside half guard position.
1:10 left, round 2. Can Michael Martinez get some offense going here? It's been a pretty lackluster second round thus far.
And again, Blue trying to hold on. He's got a 2-on-1 grip. I guess he's just got one hand on that glove.
Michael looking to confirm that back take. He's got one hook in, he needs 2.
Yeah, it's gonna be difficult with that elbow across. He did the right thing, I think, there, and kind of repositioned himself.
Yeah, back to the front headlock.
Just got to figure out a way to do some damage there. Every time he goes to do some damage and he gets in a decent position.
Oh, Blue's got a modified straight armbar here. It's bent now. It's an Americana, but in the guard. Oh, he's getting armbarred now.
Time. Oh, and that is in tight.
Oh, man.
Oh, saved by the bell. To round 3 we go. That was in tight.
That is a prime example of why you do not attack somebody from inside their guard, at least with arm locks or chokes, because their legs are immediately ready to counterattack with an arm bar. Like, that is fundamental self-defense style grappling.
Yeah, and even though it didn't finish there, Alex, it looked like that armbar might have hurt Blue Vasquez just a little bit, because that arm was straightened out and those hips were flexed all the way back.
Oh, yeah.
Michael Martinez showing a little wear over there on the stool.
Funny, anytime I get a brand new guy in a jiu-jitsu class, he's like, why can't I choke him from this position inside the close guard? I'm like, well, you could, technically, but you have to deal with the legs of the person you're trying to choke. You know, for the person on bottom in guard, their base is their back, so their arms and their legs are free. Whereas the person on top in guard, their base is their legs. They just have their upper body to try to fight. So you have to clear those legs, you know, past the guard if you want to try to attack and form successfully.
As the fans were watching the replay there, Michael Martinez heading back to his corner, had like a slight limp. Looked almost like a little adjustment there more than anything.
Doesn't take these guys long to clinch up. Michael Martinez, it's a nice little over-under dump.
You know, going back to what you were saying, Michael, to start this fight about Michael Martinez, you know, only one fight has gone the distance. He either gets finished or gets the finish. I wonder if that's kind of in his mind, you know, not taking as many chances this time around, playing it a little bit safer.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I don't think he's had the opportunity to take a lot of chances. He's gotten clinched up a ton here. You know, he's done a good job of countering submissions from the ground. But, you know, it's just from the guard here, and, you know, with Blue Vasquez being the longer fighter, I just think this is going to be a difficult spot for him to win this fight from. Now, he can come with that big ground and pound, and you see, like, some of the fundamental mistakes there, even as pros, Alex, you know, kind of punching across the head from the guard. You know, that's almost always going to get you in trouble against the better guys, especially a good grappler who's got a good guard.
Yeah. Blue's sitting up looking for a guillotine. It's so hard to finish guillotines from an existing closed guard. Blue effectively has to, like, scoot his butt all the way back. So his shoulders are sitting over the top of his opponent's shoulders, and even then, the angle's not going to be great.
Yeah, from that position, I think almost all the time, if you can get that high and you can get their head, then do the hip bump. Control that one wrist, take that post away, do the hip bump, and turn them over and get on top.
Triangle attempt here from Blue. This actually looks okay. Can he clear that left leg? He can.
Oh, hey, here we go.
It's figure four almost. It's figure four. This is deep. And he gets the tap.
Oh, the tap. Wow, what a submission from Blue Vasquez. The dark horse gets the tap. Beautiful triangle.
Yeah, very unorthodox style from Blue Vasquez, and, you know, some unorthodox submissions, but, man, he was able to finish that, did a good job. You see Michael Martinez kind of limping again. He has a little knot over there on the side of his leg, maybe on the side of his kneecap over there, so maybe something, but looked like that triangle choke also may have turned into an arm bar, because Michael Martinez kind of looking at the elbow there. Both were tight.
What a way to get your first professional win. Congratulations to Blue Vasquez.
Yeah, Blue Vasquez making a couple of mistakes there early in the fight, Alex, and maybe passing on some opportunities to get the win there early, but able to get it a little later. See Michael Martinez limping out.
Yeah, you noticed that grimace early on. He must have dinged his leg up in the first. Yeah, it's funny. You saw Blue with that wrist control. We'll see it in the highlights in a second. There's a triangle. But you can always spot a triangle coming. There's a triangle armbar.
Yeah, that armbar must have been tied in there in that triangle, and then, you know, combine it with the fact that you're just starting to choke. You know, you don't want to go to sleep when you're in an armbar, and, you know, you're not tapped, and then they end up snapping that arm also. It's kind of a double whammy.
Let's go inside to make this official. Here's Wayne Leggett.
Ladies and gentlemen, the end comes 1 minute, 51 seconds into round number 3. Declaring your winner by tap out due to a triangle armbar, the dark horse, Blue Vasquez.
For our fight fans that are here for Elijah Smith against Roger Smith Jr., Tommy Britton, Chris Herrera, Marquis Smith versus Justin Gubernale. Those are not going to be swing bouts. We will be back on whatever channel you're watching, YouTube, Facebook. We will be back with those swing bouts after. But now we get ready for Fury FC 68 Bauman versus Ivy. We are heading to UFC Fight Pass on behalf of the entire Fury team, our production team, and for Alex Morono and Michael Alexander, I'm Rahil Ramsnali. We will talk to you on UFC Fight Pass at 4:30 p.m. We'll see you then.